I paid $100 for a $10 Butterball Turkey. Horns up and welcome to Headbanger's Kitchen. So today I'm going to tell you a story of how I bought a turkey for $100, and I also want to show you how I cooked it. Now, why does this turkey cost $100? What is so special about this? Well, for starters, this is a Butterball Turkey, which actually costs just $10 in the United States. Approximately, it costs between $1 to $2 per pound, and I got a 10-pound bird. So technically, this should have only cost $10 to $20. And in fact, you can even get it cheaper than $10 depending on where you buy it from. But I live in India, so the turkey was imported from the United States to India, and that process resulted in me buying it for $100. I didn't specially order it, but there are people who import foreign food products into India, and I'm going to assume with the duty, the taxes, the profit margins that retailers need and wholesalers need, and also the cost of storing the bird for I don't know how long, all of it adds up to a selling price of $100. So that's probably why it costs $100. So why did I buy this turkey for $100? Well, for starters, I'm on a low-fat, high-protein diet. I'm trying to build muscle while I burn fat. In fact, I've done a few videos about it. You can click here on the I button and watch it. I got a message from one of my local meat vendors, this website I buy stuff from. They sent a message saying, local turkey available for 2500 Indian rupees, which is about 33 US dollars. And I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty reasonable. Maybe I should buy one because I've been eating chicken for a month and turkey is fairly lean and it would be a good change for me. So I said, you know what, let me order it. And to be honest, I've had bad cooking experiences with local birds. The meat is always tough and it's never good. And I've always roasted the whole bird. So I thought to myself, I'll break down the bird and I'll try and make it taste good. Anyway, I ordered it. They called me and said, look, we don't have the local turkey, unfortunately. I was like, oh man, I was quite disappointed. But they did have this imported $100 Butterball turkey. And they've had it for a while. Like if you go to some of the high-end supermarkets in India, you'll find it in the frozen section because I believe these turkeys can be frozen for 2 years. So anyway, I was like, man, should I get this turkey? Like, I kind of caved in and said, you know what, let me treat myself to this turkey. I work hard for the money, so hard for the money. Also, I am a chef. I cook for a living. I make videos on Headbanger's Kitchen. And I was like, you know what, I can just use it as a learning experience and maybe in the future I can do some turkey recipes. I had no intention of even making this video. But I said, you know what, it will work for my diet. I learned something. And you know what, let's just do it. So I said, okay. And then I ordered myself that $100 turkey. So I got a lot of suggestions on how to cook this turkey. People said put butter under the skin and roast it whole. Some said to dry brine it. Some said wet brine it. Somebody said put it in the smoker. Somebody else said to deep fry the whole bird. Even to put bacon around the entire thing. But at the end of the day, I decided to do a simple roast turkey and gravy. No bacon, no butter under the skin because I was looking for a low-fat turkey since that's my diet right now. And I also decided to break down the bird and cook it because if you've seen my oven, apart from looking like a prop from the set of a horror movie, it's also too small to roast an entire bird into. So I decided I'll break down the bird. I would dry brine half of it and I would wet brine half of it, and that's how I was going to cook it. And of course the most important thing is I was going to use the meat thermometer to ensure the perfect temperature, thus giving me a delicious and juicy turkey. So it took me 3 whole days to cook the turkey. The first day I spent prepping the bird, the second day I cooked the wet brined half of it, and the third day I cooked the dry brined half of it. Now, unfortunately, the first day of preparation I did not film because my kitchen is too small, the bird was too big, and I just didn't have any intention of filming it. but I did post it on my Headbangers Kitchen Instagram account. And if you go to the account now, Headbangers Kitchen on Instagram, you'll find it in the story highlights. So you can check out my entire preparation process, which is defrosting the bird, butchering it, seasoning it, making the stock, and doing all those things. And now I'm going to show you how I made the gravy and how I cooked the wet brine bird. So to make my wet brine, all I did was use some salt, some rock salt or sea salt actually, some pepper, some sugar, some star anise and some cloves. And I just made a standard wet brine using that, and I brined the bird overnight. Now unfortunately, me being kind of a guy who cooks by feel rather than by exact measurements, I don't have the exact measurements for the brine, but I will figure it out and I will put it on the blog post. The link you will find below this video in the description box. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, let's cook that wet brine turkey. The first thing I decided to do was use the turkey stock that I made along with some flour and some butter to make a delicious gravy. I started by melting some butter in my skillet on a medium heat. I used salted butter, but you can use unsalted as well, that's fine. And a little trick of mine is to brown the butter. So let it melt, and as it's cooking it will start to foam and the milk solids get caramelized. Now you can go from brown butter to burnt butter very quickly, so pay close attention to it. Don't take your eyes off the pan. Now you'll be able to smell the butter getting all nutty and toasty, and that's a delicious smell that's going to fill your kitchen. Anyway, once my butter is nice and brown, then I'm going to add in the flour and I'm going to give it all a good mix. And you want to cook this for about 2 minutes, stirring constantly. To make your gravy darker in color, you can cook this till it starts to get more caramelized and more brown. And once I was at a point and I was happy with the color, that's when I started adding in that delicious turkey stock. Now you want to make sure that you add the stock in bit by bit, otherwise you'll end up with a super lumpy gravy. Basically, you add in a bit of stock, it gets absorbed by the roux, which is what you're making with the flour and the butter, and as you keep adding the stock and mixing it, you get a smoother and smoother gravy, and that slowly starts to thin out as well. Now I was just using a basic recipe, which is 2 tablespoons of butter to 2 tablespoons of flour, and to that you add 2 cups of liquid. Pretty simple and straightforward. Also, as it cools down, it will start to thicken up even more. Anyway, once that's done, I'm going to season it with some salt, some black pepper, and my secret ingredient, which is a swig or a slug of dark soya sauce. That will take your gravy from a sickly brown to a deep, gorgeous brown color. Just look at the color of that gravy. How good does that look? Now you can cook it for a minute or more just to let those flavors develop, and of course taste it for seasoning. And you should have your gravy ready. That's it. I mean, just look at how unctuous that looks and how rich and delicious that gravy looks. Basically, your gravy is now ready. So I'm going to be cooking the wet brine turkey first, because the dry brine bird can sit in my fridge for over 24 hours, while the wet brine one is recommended to only brine for 12 to 18 hours. So the first thing I do is I wash the brined bird to get off any of the spice bits, and also to get off any of the excess salt and brine on it, because otherwise if you don't wash it, it will be too salty. Then I decided it would be a smart decision to separate the drumstick and the thigh, which would definitely reduce the cooking time. So I did that. Just run your knife between the 2 joints, find the bone and cut around it. It's pretty simple actually. Once again, you can refer to the butchery videos that I have recommended earlier, and they will help you out. Then I'm going to lightly season the dark meat pieces, which is the wing, the drumstick and the thigh. I'm going to season it with just salt and pepper on both sides, and I made sure I didn't season it with a heavy hand because the bird would already be salted all through because of the brine, but just a little seasoning on top. So I lightly seasoned it, and I also cut some gashes in the bird to help with the cooking. Now we often do this on tandoori chicken and other chicken dishes, and also I saw Adam Ragusia do this, so I said, why not? Anyway, I got my pan on the stove again and I heated up some olive oil. Then I added in the wing, the thigh and the drumstick skin side down, just to let them brown nicely and get a nice crispy skin going. After they were done browning on one side, I flipped them over and just let them sit there for like a minute before transferring them to a baking tray. I also deglazed the pan with some water and I poured those juices in the roasting tray with the meat. I'm not sure why I did it, but I did it anyway. Next, I decided to tackle the breast, and I cut off the breast tenderloin, which is this small tiny bit of meat under the breast. It's super tender. The reason I took that off is because I wanted to cook it separately. If I cooked it with the breast, I feel it would just overcook, and also when you cook it separately, it's like a chef's treat. You can eat it while the rest of the bird cooks. Anyway, I got my pan on the stove again and heated up some oil again, and this time I switched to my non-stick pan because I had a sticky issue with the last pan. But yeah, anyway, once the oil was hot, the breast goes in skin side down again and the tender as well. Now I just let it cook, and after about a minute I could see the sides of the tender turning white. So as it cooks, you'll see the pink flesh start to turn white. So I decided it was time to flip the tender, and wow, look at the color on that. It's beautiful. Then I just cooked it for some more time before checking the temperature with the thermometer, and since the temperature was 155 Fahrenheit or 68 degrees Celsius, I decided to remove it, as anyway it's going to kind of continue to cook and finish cooking as it rests. Anyway, by now it was time to turn over the breast as well, and oh my gosh, the color on that skin! I love those dark caramelized bits, which I suspect is from the sugar being there in the brine, which kind of makes it go dark, but it looks so good. Oh yeah! Anyway, then I popped that breast in the oven with the rest of the turkey and let it cook. Now while the bird was cooking away, I decided to slice up that turkey tenderloin and see how it was done. And trust me, it was done to perfection. It looks moist and juicy and yummy. The sear on the outside was good, and I'm salivating just looking at that. I mean, look at it. How good and juicy does that look, yeah? Anyway, time for a little turkey snack. Hey guys, so while the turkey is cooking in the oven, the breast, the leg, the thigh, the wing, that lovely turkey tender that I cooked on the pan, I'm gonna taste that because, it's hot, it looks juicy and delicious. I hope you saw it properly in the close-ups. I don't know if you can see it now. Probably not. Anyway, let me dig in. Oh, that is moist. Oh, yummy. And it is juicy. That salty brine has penetrated through the meat. So definitely the wet brine works. In terms of texture and comparison to other turkeys, I really don't have a frame of reference. But to me, this tastes good. Maybe if I can steal a spoon of gravy. Hang on. Let's put a little gravy. Got a little bit of that gravy as well. Now let's taste it. Oh, all I need is some mashed potatoes, some carrots maybe, few veggies. This is good. This is like, for years I have watched chefs make Sunday roasts. And I've had a few in the UK and they've been terrible. But this feels like Sunday roast done right. Soft, moist turkey meat, a flavorful gravy. And yeah, I definitely think So far so good. This is tasting good. Now I better check in on the other parts. I don't want to overcook this bird at all. Let's go and check on the meat. Okay, so I popped open the oven and temperature checked the bird, and the wing and the thigh were done, so I removed them from the oven and let them rest. After a while I opened the oven again, and this time the breast was at the right temperature, so I took it out and let that rest as well. I made sure that I covered it all with some foil, just loosely placed on the top, not like wrapped tightly, because otherwise the bird will just steam. And then finally I checked in on the drum, and it had reached the perfect internal temperature, which is about 85 degrees Celsius or 185 Fahrenheit. So I removed that and my turkey was ready. Of course, I had to slice into that breast to check if it was juicy or not. And of course, it had easily been resting for about 15 minutes now. So it was a well rested and relaxed bird, and the meat was perfectly cooked. The bird was juicy and succulent. I mean, just look at that meat, the moisture, the succulence. Anyway, I took off the wing drummet and sliced away at the rest of the breast. And now, ladies and gents, I'm just gonna leave you with a montage of my meat. I mean the turkey meat, not my meat. My meat is not on display, but please do enjoy the footage before I dig in and tell you what I think about the wet-brined turkey. Alright guys, so I'm done cooking half the turkey. This is the breast, the leg and the wing that I wet brined. And yeah, I mean, again, like I mentioned a little earlier, I don't have a reference for good turkey, but I'm just gonna taste it. And also props to anyone who photographs turkey, because like the meat, like that, those glistening juices, once you cut the bird and you leave it out and try and photograph it, all those juices just disappear. But let me dig into a little bit of that breast meat. It's still moist. It's juicy. The skin's a little chewy. I don't think I rendered the fat out properly in the skin, or maybe I should have poked my finger under the breast and separated the skin from the meat, because I know we do that for duck. But the meat itself is juicy. And you know what? It tastes like turkey. Like it tastes like a bird. I feel like I'm eating turkey. It smells like turkey, which is not a bad thing. I'm going to try a little of the dark meat now. I used to watch all those TV shows where the king is sitting on his throne and just chewing on a turkey leg. Also, I realized the skin would have got soggy by now, because this has been sitting out for a bit and I've been photographing it and taking little video clips. But let's dig into the leg. I can pretend to be some king of some faraway land. Arrgh, I'm gonna eat the turkey. Wow. Okay, that. It's like chicken. I don't know why my voice went up an octave, but it tastes like chicken. But the leg is good. Way better than the breast for sure. Now I know why kings are always seen eating the leg and not the breast. Dark meat wins hands down, guys. Do you prefer white meat or do you prefer dark meat? I mean, obviously, for like if you're trying to be lean and eat low fat or something, then breast is always the way to go. But like if you're on keto or low carb, then why would you want anything other than a drumstick? Oh wow, that is so good, guys. And I'll say that definitely it's seasoned very well. The brine has obviously worked, and I'm excited to see what the dry brine tastes like. If this is just the wet brine, I'm excited to see the dark brine. Oh, let's dig into the thigh. Oh. Oh wow, guys, I'll say this. If I got turkey for cheap, I would definitely eat it more often. But it is a very birdy bird, if you know what I mean. Like it tastes like a bird. The flavors are much stronger. If you've never eaten turkey before, yeah, I can imagine that you may not enjoy the taste as much, but I don't think it's a tasteless meat at all. I mean, it's no beef, it's no duck, but I might give this a thumbs up over chicken. Anyway, I'll see you now when I taste the dry brine half of the turkey. And this is a lot of food. This is gonna last me for at least 3 meals, I think. If I was eating this alone, that's 3 meals right there. 1 piece for each meal, because it's a lot of protein there. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. I'm out. Hey folks, so that was my experience cooking half of that $100 turkey, and you definitely do not want to miss part 2. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notifications when I upload part 2 of this series. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the thumbs up button and like this video if you did. And you know what? I will see you on the next episode. Till then, cheers and keep eating. Hey folks, if you love turkey, let me know where you've had the best turkey in your life. Who makes it? Was it a restaurant? Was it a family member? What's the secret? Share your turkey recipes and turkey secrets with me down in the comments, and see you guys soon.